of the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees regular meeting. I will go ahead and call it to order as president. We will have the roll call by Melissa Augusta tonight.
Should I start with that first, or should we start with?
Yeah, do you want to do A and B first?
Oh, I'm sorry. We are going to adopt, just a quick mention for those watching. We're going to adopt the public comment language to reflect 3-minute time limit, which follows the city council guidelines. And we're going to institute the 3-minute timer in order to accommodate all guests in a timely manner during library board meetings. Typically, that's not something we mentioned, but that was just a quick ad that we wanted to put in and also alert everybody of. Thank you. So now, item number 2 on our agenda is roll call, and that's actually, it says by Bill Lawler, so we'll just make that quick change, and it's actually by Melissa Augusta tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melissa Augusta, present. Kat Dooley,
Present.
William Lawler, absent excused.
Absent excused, yes.
Craig Messernick,
Here.
Tara Mishner,
Present.
Jeffrey Wood is absent excused. Tori Yu,
Present.
and then we have Mahek Nasser. Present. And then Tarun Tangarala.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Okay, so if we can all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, item 4 on our agenda is approval and overview of the agenda, and that can be found on pages 1 through 4. There's also 5, which is a consent agenda, and there's items A through D there as well. If there is any discussion on that or a motion.
Do you want a motion to approve the overview of agenda?
Mm-hmm.
All right, a motion to approve overview of agenda.
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. It's passed. And then the consent agenda is also there as well. If we can have a motion for that.
I'll motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? All right. That's all it's approved. And now we are on item 6, which is correspondence.
So we have 3 different correspondence that are mentioned here on pages 28 and 29. The first is, it's actually a culmination of comment cards. So what I did is I just did a synopsis for all of you. We had received 5 comment cards specifically on one particular day in January regarding the cold temperatures that were in the main lobby. So I wanted you to be aware of that. I know we've talked during budget time about this. We did realize that we had a heating issue in the building for the library. It was fixed. We've had no problems since then. But just wanted you to be aware that when comment cards come in, typically we look at them, we review them. If a patron requests a response, either email or phone, we reach out to them. If not, we at least collect them and I make aware of them and try to connect with different parts of the library in terms of staff where it would make sense for them to be communicating about a need or a thought, good, bad, whatever, whatever comes up from the patron. But just, so I took a combination, just so you know that there were 5 on that particular day regarding the cold, and then some of the information that, that supports it. The second one is from Gwen Markham, a library patron and also resident of Novi. She's also now our county commissioner. Gwen attended our Martin Luther King program on Monday, January 21st, and just you can see here it was a very glowing and much appreciated comment about the program and how much she enjoyed attending, which I greatly appreciate her comment. And we really had a great day. We had over 100 in attendance. Gail Anderson is our programming coordinator who puts it together, and it was just a fantastic morning. Tears, wonderful music. So if anyone ever gets a chance to attend, it is definitely worth it. And we know from the responses from the people that attended that they enjoyed the event.
She does great work.
She does, yes. And I appreciate her, sending that comment to us via email. And then the last is from a patron as well, Vineet Gupta. This was through an email. he raises a concern about, being alerted to due dates when it comes to materials. And I wanted you to see my response back to him as well. This unfortunately is not something that Novi specifically can handle. It is through our new Carl system, and we will continue to work with TLN to see if there's anything new that can be changed when it comes to that. It is a consortium-wide rule that right now is in effect, but based on the comments I've been hearing from our patrons and even comments that we received during strategic planning, I believe this is something we can definitely keep moving forward and let TLN know about, that we have concerns for our patrons. Any questions or comments about those?
The only comment is I think it's great that you responded to him and thanked him and then explained everything. I think sometimes it's just little things like that that make a difference.
Right, thank you.
Any other comments for Julie on these correspondence pieces? All right, well, thank you for that.
You're
We'll
welcome.
move on. Okay. Item 7, we do have a special guest in the building. Let's welcome our communications person, Miss Christina Salvatore. She does all of our marketing, PR related things. Welcome, Christina.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's interesting. Well, first, thank you for having me tonight. It's interesting because last time I was here, I was talking about the annual report and a look back at the year. Now I have some things and we're looking ahead at the year.
Yes.
So a lot of great things coming up at the library, and I put in your packet some flyers and information. Mine are in the same order, so if you want to follow along just about the programs. So our first, we're going to kick off National Library Week. The National Library Week is Sunday, April 7th to Saturday, April 13th. And we have a special author event on Thursday, April 11th. We're bringing in Charlie LaDuff at the library. And this is a partnership with the Neighborhood Library Association. And I'm happy to say we already have 180 signed up. Yeah, so it's going to be a great event. So that's Thursday, April 11th. And also I will be going to the City Council meeting on the evening of April 1st to accept the proclamation from Mayor Gatt for National Library Week. So that's another exciting thing. Also for National Library Week, we're going to do our Food for Fines, Food for Thought program. So that'll be during that week. We're partnering with Gleaners Food Bank and other TLN libraries to collect food items to help feed hungry families in the community. So every item they bring, they get $1 knocked off their fines, which is great, up to 10 items a day. Brilliant. I know. So that's also during National Library Week. And all the information is there on your flyer. Another big event, not during National Library Week, but another big event is our Caring in the Community Volunteer Fair, which we are very excited about, on Saturday, April 27th, which could not have been possible without Community Financial. Because of them and their support, we're bringing in Chuck Gatica to speak for about a half hour. He's a motivational speaker, and he's just going to talk about the importance of volunteering in your community and a way to be an asset to your community. So he'll be coming in from 10 to 10:30, and then 10:30 to 1, patrons can walk around. We're hoping to have up to 40 vendors from organizations, and the community can come on in and see how they can get involved and give back by volunteering. So we're really excited about that. And we actually just did a cable taping at Community Financial with Chuck. So that'll be finished soon, and we will pass that along to you guys.
Was that with your Beyond Books?
Yes,
Very
yep.
nice.
And we also talked about the Charlie LaDuff program on there as well. So, yeah, we're really excited for that. A lot of information. So we're also thinking summer. Summer reading is on the horizon. So to kick that off on Sunday, June 9th, our theme is a universe of stories. So to kick that off, Sunday, June 9th from 1 to 4, we're having a big kickoff party with our partner Airtime. And they're going to bring in their mascot. We're going to have face painting, lawn games, raffles. And the program, summer reading program, does not start until the next day. So the people that come get an advanced sign up. We'll be doing sign ups that day.
Nice.
And the program runs until August 17th. So those are some major programs going on, along with our regularly scheduled program, which is great. So as many of you know, and if not, I'm the liaison to the Friends of the Novi Library, which I enjoy a lot, and I get to see how this group is run and all the amazing things they do for the library. So I really enjoy being a part of this group, and I attached their newsletter. They do 2 a year, a winter and a spring. So I wanted to attach that just so you could see all their accomplishments this past year and what they do and how amazing they are. And as you can see, we already have another date for our book for the evening. So make sure you mark that in your calendars. And if I am correct, Julie, I think we're closing early that day?
We are.
Okay.
Yes, we'll be closing at 5 o'clock just so that we can allow for proper setup for their event.
Great. Yeah, so save that date, Friday, October 25th. It's always a great time with silent auctions, live auctions, music. So it should be a fun night. Some of the things highlighted in this newsletter that they have done because of their wish list. One, they were able to purchase new technology to assist those with physical and cognitive special needs, which is great, a computer in our youth department. Also have reupholstered some of our furniture and purchased 18 Battle of the Book club kits, which is great. So those are some things they have done for us for their wish list. On the back is just some of their Kaleidoscope information programs coming up, and it's been a great year for the Book Nook. They've raised over $27,000, and just some other information and tidbits going on in their group. So they're really amazing group of people that give a lot back to the library, so we couldn't be where we are without them today. Yeah, I know I touched on a lot. Any questions, or just trying to give you a quick overview of what's going on?
For the summer reading program or the kickoff party, is
Sure.
that already on Facebook?
Not yet.
Okay. Sooner than later.
Yes, I agree. Okay. Yeah, I'll make a
Thank
note
you.
of that,
Thank you.
because that's a big event, so.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep, I
I'm
will make a
very
note of that.
excited.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anyone
this
else
is
have any
great.
questions for Christina?
I know it's a lot of information. That's why I wanted to attach all the flyers so you can take a hard copy with
This
you.
is awesome.
for
Thank
that.
you.
Yeah.
Putting everything in my calendar, and I love that.
Sure.
I love that you guys have been putting, like you said,
Yeah.
the libraries at events as events, so that I can
Yes.
say that I'm going, because then my friends see that. and
Yeah.
then it goes in my calendar, so I really love that you're making them as events. So thank
Great. Well,
you.
that was a great suggestion from you guys, so I appreciate it. I passed that along to David, our Facebook guru and information services librarian, so.
Tell them
Yeah.
I'm missing the book thing. I haven't seen
I
the
know,
book thing.
I know.
I'm missing that.
Yeah, he's still doing it.
There
I
was
think,
a recent
I think
one
all the
with-
staff did it, so he's trying to do it again
There
now.
was one with the teen space monitor I just saw. Did you see?
Oh, yes.
Yes, it was with Yolanda.
Yeah, that was a great
It was
one.
really
Those are
good.
really cool.
Yeah, he's amazing. He has a creative eye, so.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, good. Yeah,
Yes,
so keep a
thank
hard
you.
copy for you guys. Any questions? I mean, you could always call me or email me about
Yeah,
any
I think we'll
programs.
Probably do that if we have more questions, but we're grateful that you came here tonight. Thank you for
Yeah.
everything.
Thank you so
Christina
much.
does so much good work for us,
Yes.
guys.
All
thank
of
you
this
guys.
is awesome, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks again. So, item 8, public comment. In order to hear all citizen comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 3-minute time limit. This is not a question-answer session, therefore, library board members will not respond to questions. It is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees. And seeing nobody coming forward, we're going to move right along to 9, which is our student representatives report.
And I'm going to step in because both of them let me know that I have put the wrong report in the packet.
Okay.
So my apologies,
That's
it is
okay.
not the students. I have January in there, and it's actually February's report that needs to be in there.
Sure.
So what will happen is you will see February and March next month.
Perfect.
Okay.
Appreciate your understanding, and this is definitely not a fault of the students. It
Yeah.
was me trying to coordinate everything, so apologies for that mistake, but we will make sure we're on track next month, okay?
Okay.
Following on page 31, though, I wanted to just make you aware, as you know, Lindsay Gochai is just amazing, and I wanted to put in the press release that shared that she took part in the Best Fiction for 2019. She's actually on the committee for choosing this particular award for Best Young Adult Fiction. So wanted to put in the press release and let you know and how much we are supporting her and proud of her for taking, not just the local level, but then a national level with the American Library Association, and she is representing the Novi Library.
It's great.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thanks again.
Thanks for coming.
Julie, can we have the report emailed to us, just so that we
Sure.
can see some of the events that will be
Absolutely.
coming up?
I'd be happy to do
Okay,
that.
would be
Yes.
awesome.
That's a
Okay.
good question. very smart. Okay.
Thanks you guys for preparing the report. We'll read it later. Thanks for coming.
Well, that's a quick way to get out of here.
Try that next one.
Item 10. Okay, so we'll start with A, which is the library goals on page 33. Is there anything you wanted to highlight there, Julie, on the
We don't
goals
have any
update?
goals put in. Those are
Okay.
just, that's just the information.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so, so library goals are on 33, if you want to relook at them. Nothing, no updates right now. And then C is the library board officers will present a slate in March to be improved in April.
So I believe this is Bill Lawler that will have to.
It is.
Okay, get
Right,
that
yeah,
process going, yeah.
Yeah, and he'll be back, he should be back next month.
Right, but that is March, so will
Yeah.
you be communicating that he's?
I can do that.
Okay, perfect.
I have a meeting with him
Okay.
in March.
Awesome.
So
Okay.
I'll mention it, absolutely.
So if we're running, we have to let him know prior to the March meeting?
Oh, for sure.
Or at the March meeting?
No, I think.
You can email him
think he
probably
does it
now,
prior.
let him know
Yeah.
if you want to stay in your role, or if you want to have a officer position or something like that.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
it does, yeah,
Okay,
perfect.
awesome. All right, so we're going to move on to number 11, which is Treasurer's Report with Melissa Augusta.
Thank you. All right, I gave everyone a handout with
Yeah.
it. So the report starts, the library budget actually starts on page 34 and goes all the way to page 37. So the amended budget, which is the last light blue column, amended budget for Fund 268 fiscal year 2018-2019 calls for revenue of $3,033,030 and expenditures of $3,140,250, consuming $107,220 of the fund balance. On page 38 is the last green column, which is the 2018-2019 amended budget, calls for revenue of $39,500 and expenditures of $164,700, consuming $125,200. The revenue and expenditure report for Fund 268 starts on page 39, goes all the way to page 41. So if you go to 41, and it's the third column from the end that says year-to-date balance 1/31/2019. Revenue year-to-date ending January 31st was $3,003,184. That was an increase from last month of $31,422. Our expenditures as of January 31st were $1,590,976, and that was an increase of $258,176. Our revenue and expenditure report for Fund 269, which is on page 42. It is, again, the third from the last column, and it's under Fund Balance 269. Revenue year-to-date ending January 31st was $46,034, which was an increase from the previous month of $9,403.37. And our expenditures year-to-date January 31st were $72,974.60, which was an increase of $13,499.36. Any questions about any of that before I go to balance sheet? Okay, balance sheet for Fund 268 for January 31st, 2019, which is on bottom of page 43. Ending fund balance is $3,315,131.33. Fund balance for Fund 269 for January 31st was $1,680,488.29.
It is so clean with this sheet. Like, I felt like it was so easy to follow. I don't know about anybody else, but thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Any questions for Melissa? Okay, well, thank you again. We're really grateful for it being so succinct and easily able to follow. All right, so we will move on to, we just go
Do
really
we need
fast
to do
tonight.
but I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, please.
Under 11, proposed budget funds or anything for that, or on F and G, do we need to touch on that at all? Or was that covered? Because that's 1920.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure.
On number 11, F and G. F and G.
Oh, F and
Proposed
G.
2019.
So that's under matter for board action. You can you can do a couple things. You could talk about it here now, or if you want to wait until under matters for board action, it's completely up
We
to you.
can wait. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't skipping through.
No,
Okay.
I understand, because I feel like this is going really fast tonight. So
Yeah.
that's
We'll wait to revisit it in the, okay.
perfect. Thank you. And that was a good double check. So 12, director's report.
And I don't have a ton, because the last 2 months have been so pretty much focused on budgeting, that tends to keep a lot of my time.
Yeah.
But I do have a small report for you, starting on page 50. First off, I want to recognize the employees and March anniversaries. The first is Yolanta Borek. She's a support services supervisor and will be celebrating 12 years in March. And then we have Mary Ann Zermulin. She's our support services department head, and that is 8 years. She's been in the role of department head about 3. And then Jean Aldrich, support services clerk, 2 years. And Hillary Henshaw, information services librarian, and she works specifically with, she's our business librarian, works specifically with business resources. She's been with us 2 years. I'm also happy to tell you that Hillary had a baby today. So, yes. So Lydia was born, and we're very excited. She'll be off for a few months now, but we're very excited to have a new baby in our realm at the library. So that's exciting.
She's our ambassador too, right?
Through
the
chamber.
chamber.
Yes, through the
Very
Chamber of
good.
Commerce. Yes, she is. She does a lot with the Business and Economic Development Office here at the city. We've got her connected, and then also with the chamber.
That's awesome.
Yes. And then finally, Sarah Andrus, Information Services Librarian. She's a substitute with us, and she's been on our staff for about a year. And then following along, just wanted you to see the letter that was received in terms of, they closed out the state aid that was due on February 1st. As you can see, 393 libraries turned in, so 98%. I don't know why they're not at 100%, because why you'd be giving up getting your state aid and some money back from the state makes me wonder. I know we don't get a ton, but every little bit helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's worth the time, and Marcia Dominic now works on that report with insight from our department heads, but it is very much, it's over $30,000 that the library receives, so it's very much worth our time in order to collect that and turn in. Plus, it's good data that we're providing for anyone at the state level, and any other library that wants to check information. They can compare libraries having this data available to them. So just wanted you to see that letter that was sent to me. And then we had Al Bialik was one of our patrons that attended at our board meeting last month. And I just wanted to follow up to let you know that we are doing, creating ways to, check the types of programming, looking at survey information, numbers, things like that. We're going to be tracking programming more often, and I wanted you to be aware of that.
That's great.
So you'll see more of it coming. And then at the bottom of page 50, just to add to your conversation when it comes to budget time, I know that Trustee Dooley had asked me to look into that RAP and the question you had at our budget session,
Right.
and that is the response I received from the city. So it's not available because it would be for more than one vehicle to be purchased.
Thanks for checking.
Absolutely. And then page 51, just some items of out and about and some things that we took care of in terms of meetings over the last end of January and through February. And then I wanted to add an article. This is not a new, you can see it was from May, June of 2018, but a great article that ended up, I look through magazines and then I get back to magazines. Sometimes I don't go cover to cover. But this came up and I was reminded of it. Kevin actually is a great colleague and friend of mine. He works at the Kalamazoo Public Library. I shared this with the staff, thought it was just a great article and wanted to share it with all of you as well, but the good things that we can be doing and what gratitude is in our library. Moving along to page 54 is Barb Rakowski's Information Technology Report. Lots of things going on because this really is the busiest time for Barb. March and April was when we were actually putting all of the IT infrastructure into the building 9 years ago. So this tends to be her calendar year and renewal of software, and when we look at IT purchases and stuff, and then loading things in, purchasing things like that. So this is usually from this point to the end of the year is a pretty busy time for her. And then facilities, a number of things going on with facilities. As you can see, we had our pipe burst that happened in the cafe area. That's all been taken care of. That was cleaned up immediately within hours. We did have to close the library a little bit early on that Friday when it happened, but that's been looked at. In fact, we had Charles Boulard, who I appreciate from the city, came over just to look at that area again, and there's not a lot of insulation where that pipe lies, and so we're going to be putting in some extra insulation so that we don't run into that problem again. So we have a little bit of work to be done maintenance-wise in the building, which will come up in the next couple months. We thought there's no worry to doing it right away. We thought we'd do it in our interim between cafe when we move to that time of year. Then there is the report that the Building and Grounds Committee received when we had our final LED meeting, and I know that Craig will talk a little bit about that during the committee report, but just wanted to give you that information so you could see how we were doing. Following along on page 60, there is the Information Services Report by April Stevenson. A lot of great things happening, as you can see, with programming and events, which is a major part of what they do. And then our Raising a Reader, obviously always great numbers there as well. Just this month alone, 45,000 books were read, so wow. I know.
That's awesome.
And then I'm excited to share on page 62, this was put together by one of our librarians. Her name is Kirsten Malzahn, and if you can see at the bottom of page 62, this is a key that people can use when trying to communicate should they have problems with English, that we can hopefully help them in the library and get them on the right direction should they be looking for something or need direction. So we're using this at our reference desk. Wanted to share that because she created it for the staff to use. I think I have some very talented and creative people on my staff.
Indeed, yes.
And then there is a spotlight talking about Hillary. April is doing some spotlights on her staff, and there's some information about Hillary currently and what she does on page 63. On page 64 is our Support Services Department update by Mary Ann Zermulin. And everything looks great there. You know, one of the things we've talked about is the Novi cards that go out for registration. If you can see, we gave out 9 in the month of January, so that was a little lower than usual. I know Tara's going to be going out to Deerfield Elementary. She's going to work with them specifically in March, which March is reading month. And we put everything together for her to touch base with 455 students. I'm sure some of them have library cards, but we wanted to make sure, and so there's going to be a flyer going out and a connection with them to see if anyone needs a card through Deerfield Elementary
And
in
I'll
this month.
blurb it for the event marketing piece.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
great.
that's awesome.
Yep. Page 65 through page 73 is our statistics. And there was just one note I wanted to make sure you saw that was on page 66 at the bottom. There was a question about the self-checks and that going down a little bit. I did ask and did a little research, and Mary Ann Zermulin is on top of things when it comes to support services. She made me aware that since Carl went into place in May, we've had to block or stop patrons who might be using the self-checkout because if there was information or things that we questioned, or there might have been a mistake with their accounts transferring over the data, they might have been stopped and not been able to use the self-checkout and then asked to use the desk. And this has been going on for about 6 months.
That's helpful.
So I'm hoping to see these numbers go up. But she gave me a pretty good account of that's probably why. They've been seeing a lot of patrons just at the desk working with them because of issues. Also, we've been able to turn back on our credit card swipes at the self-checkout machine. Those are now usable again, and those were off for a number of months, and now we're back up full force. Okay? So other than that, then we move on to, I believe it's page 74, the article that I included from the Novi news about the library participating in the Mark Cuban Challenge. We did not win it, but it was exciting to be part of that and see people take part and read in January, which I appreciated. And then I know you've already seen this when we had our 2 budget sessions, but on page 75, I did include the Historical Commission budget that was approved on January 1st, just so that we have track of it, and should anybody be looking for that information for approval. I included that tonight. Any questions? Yes,
Is
Cardi?
there anything new from the city on the Lakeshore project?
No, there has not been any information shared with me. I have asked, but they don't have any timeframes for anything yet in terms of bid. I guess, great question.
Anyone else? So I have 2 quick notes I wanted to make. One, the February anniversaries will be getting their cards from me in March. This time around, sorry. So they'll all get theirs at the same time, just a quick note. I didn't forget them. And then the other one, the Cuban Challenge was actually really beneficial for snow days. So thank you for doing
Sure.
it. So although we were not the winner, my kid discovered tumble books and
Yes.
all kinds of interesting things and really rocked the challenge.
Good,
We tried to help. So thank you for all your help and
You're
all your work.
welcome.
Hearing the director's report, it just reminds us of how much effort goes into making our library great. So thank you.
You're welcome, but I've got a great staff, so.
Oh, effort from all. And,
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Yep.
apple doesn't fall far from tree.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's that. But thank you. Okay.
I have a comment.
Yes, please.
When I had my interview for my position, one of the questions was, what are some of the things that I'm most proud of that we've accomplished? And one of the things I mentioned was the LEDs,
Yes.
that project of how much we came under budget, and that one, we'll be able to recoup the money faster, and 2, how in the long run will hopefully save us money. And I also mentioned the kiosk in Novi. So the city council was very excited because that was one of the things when I first came on, and so they were.
You're gonna see it through fruition, hopefully, right?
I just wanted to know that they were very, very impressed. with
Thank
that,
you.
too.
Thanks. Okay, guys, so we'll move on to item 13, which is our committee report, starting with policy. Just a really quick update. We have had some recent meetings in February. Our small committee here.
Our small committee.
And we're planning on meeting again. We're just doing some review of policies and some comparisons right now.
Yes.
So that's a quick update on that. B, for HR committee. Corey, do you want to speak to that, or?
Sure.
Or no? Okay.
Yeah, I believe our next HR meeting is going to be March 11th, March 14th. March 14th, it's a Thursday evening at 7:30, and talk about some updates that we wanted to discuss.
Yep. And it looks like, and eventually you guys are going to do that staff satisfaction
Yep.
survey soon too, right? All right, and then C, finance committee, anything on that?
We have a meeting scheduled in March with an expert on millages and a lot of the details, and they're working with another city, so they are actually sitting with us for complimentary. So that will be March 28th.
28th. Yes, it's the same
So-
day as the board meeting. I'm sorry you're back to back on things,
Oh,
but
right.
yes.
Yeah, so that will be a very interesting meeting, so we can kind of just get some information about millages and such.
That's good. Okay, and then D is events marketing, fundraising, that's me. So Julie did allude to, really quick, the thing that we're doing with Deerfield. She covered most of it. We're just going to start it off soon for March's Reading Month, and basically just getting kids interested in getting to our library, getting a library card, sign up. One really quick fun thing is we realize if they already have a card, how do they get involved? So we said, if they follow the calendar and go, then they'll also be entered for the raffle.
that's-
So
oh,
that was one
good.
quick piece I wanted
Okay,
to
great.
blurb.
Okay.
So the goal is reading, but also foot traffic into the library, making sure young readers are reading.
That's great.
Yeah,
What day is
and
that?
Julie's staff, so it's an ongoing thing for March's Reading Month. I can actually, do you mind, Julie, if I just pass around for the people here to
No.
see a little quick packet?
It's just the calendar that you asked for in the registration form.
So if you just look at it,
Yeah.
don't take it apart. But that might be hard for you.
Gosh, this is so
But-
cute.
Yeah, so that's that. So that's just a really quick calendar, so all the kids will get that. Just reminding them of the programs that we have. Just a fun way to get them interested, and we'll see what happens with it.
But I think it covers March and April.
this is
So so beautiful, so simple.
I love it.
So it's
Great
Christina, so.
Yeah.
Is this something,
And Julie made it happen.
is this something that you want to duplicate at Orchard Hills? Because,
We can
I
if
mean,
we
that's where I'm
probably-
at.
So call me and let me know.
Okay.
Yep,
All right.
absolutely.
Okay,
Do you,
Would love it.
do you want to do it for Reading Month?
sure.
Or do,
So
or
it
do you-
doesn't, it starts tomorrow, but
Yeah,
if you want to,
it starts
it doesn't matter when you do it. If you, why don't you talk, probably the best thing to do is talk to Dr. O'Feely
Okay,
and then let me know, and then I can make it work.
Okay,
It's very
perfect.
simple what we're doing.
okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
it is. And the only reason why I asked if you weren't going to do it for Reading Month is because I could tell you what happened with ours.
Right.
So you could, if
So-
we have any,
We could do it in April for National Library Week.
That would be
I mean,
fine.
so either way, there's easy things to play
Sure.
on.
so if there's bumps and
Yep.
bruises we have, maybe you don't have to.
Okay,
And then these are,
But yes.
these are just what the registration.
these are the
form looks
registration
like.
form.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, so I'm on the DCC there, and we just kind of talked about how to make everything full circle.
Yeah, this is
all working together as a community, right?
Thank
Here, I'll let you guys see really quick.
One-
Also, really quick. Oh, they're vacuuming. Really quick. As you guys know, a lot of us were at Toast of the Town. That was myself, Trustee Dooley, Trustee Augusta, and I did a program on the 9th. Let's talk about race. With one of our community members, Sharon Trumpy. She had the older kids and I had the younger ones. It was very well attended and we got really good feedback on
That's
it.
great.
February 11th was the City of Novi 50th anniversary. Trustee Augusta, do you want to speak to your time there?
Oh, it was very, very fun. The city hall was packed, and they had snacks, and everyone loved looking at everything and talking, and everything is still out there, so they can come, I think, for
Yeah.
another few weeks, right?
It's only till March 4th.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's-
so this is
Oh,
the
till
last
Monday.
This is the
weekend.
last weekend.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
this
But
is
the memorabilia, and they're selling the old retro
Vintage
T-shirts, and it was just a very, very nice event.
Very
It was- Enjoyed it.
Nice. And then Trustee Augusta and Trustee Mesternak were at the Suburban Collection Grand Opening. If either of you want to speak to that.
That was also amazing.
Thank you for accompanying
We
me.
had no idea, we just thought it would be a presentation, but we got to see the circus.
Yes.
Oh,
Front row.
Oh.
The
was
hall
amazing.
opened up inside, upstairs, and then you could see downstairs where they had the circus inside, so you didn't have to go outside. And they had the animals and the performers, and they had amazing food, and it was wonderful and very much appreciated. So it was an honor to be a part of that.
It's really awesome. And I love this committee specifically because you get to see how we all take a part. It's not one person doing one thing, it's everybody attending what they can and we work together. So I love it. Strategic planning.
Can I cup one?
Yeah,
Okay,
please.
so at the meeting Monday, there was another young lady who applied for the library board. She also applied for a different, but part of it was that she's into marketing and fundraising.
Okay.
So I don't know if she would be interested in, that's something like we've talked about, that we don't have that knowledge of fundraising. So she has done that in the past.
Okay.
I don't know, I just thought I'd throw it out. I wanted to get her name, but she left.
I
before
can
got-
find out.
Okay, but I thought it would be, maybe that she could give us some ideas of something, But that's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
So strategic planning.
I guess I can speak a little bit to it. So our chair, Trustee Wood, he's obviously absent excused. But I had the pleasure of attending my very first committee meeting with them and meeting our now council member, Doreen Poupard. And it was really awesome. A lot of brainstorming. A lot of things are brewing. Nothing to really report just yet. And I think we're working on another follow-up meeting. But Julie's got some things in the works, so you'll probably be hearing from her soon.
So just, there's lots of data, which.
Lots of data.
The committee received.
Yes.
Pages and pages of
We
data.
went through that.
which was based on our survey that we did at the library and the citizen survey, and then all the comments from the feedback sessions that we held in the fall and early winter, into November. So all that data was collected thanks to April Stevenson, who's on our, who's my information services department head. She crunched all that over December and January and got it back to all of us. So I allowed them to see all of that information and all that data. What we're hoping for is to have an in-service day where we bring back some of the people that were part of the feedback sessions in the fall and add some new people so that they can help us, that to the next step of what are those ideas and areas that seem to be really resonating from the data, that seems to be really high, a lot of response on the same stuff,
Right.
that maybe we should be looking at and focusing on and kind of helping develop the strategic plan. So we're in a good spot. A lot of data to look through, but there were a lot of similarities and a lot of similar information. And I will work with the committee to, let that information be shared with all of you.
Right.
Because then you can, if you want to take part in that next in-service day, you most definitely could, so you can see what's going on and what we've got kind of out there and what people have told us should be things the library should be concentrating on in the next 3 years.
The data is really exciting.
It is.
So,
It's all over. It's quite interesting. Building stuff came out, technology, programming, lots of things. But what the group asked me to do, and April's on vacation right now, so next week when she gets back, is to kind of hone all that data into, we do it already, because some people said it and they didn't realize that we already, so we want to put it in, we do it already. That probably can be done and doesn't need to be part of strategic planning. And then stuff that probably sounds like, yes, this is a strategic planning thing to think about. So I'm gonna change that focus into those 3 areas to do that with the data. So that'll help you even more because it's gonna be organized better for all of you.
And then the strategic planning items can actually put into buckets, so.
right?
Yes, exactly, yes. And
That
then
could be
fit
separated
under those strategic planning objectives or goals that will get created, which we still haven't done yet. So it's my hope, if I give you a timeline, which we talked a little bit about at our meeting, it is still my hope to be getting the board a draft in May for you to look over and then approve in June, and then we put into place in July. That's still the time frame we're still looking at. Okay, and I think it's still doable.
Yeah, I
with
think
where
we're
we are.
on schedule still.
Yep.
Good.
So any questions about that?
I don't have any.
Okay.
All right. Moving forward to F, building a landscape.
2 different items. The work continues on getting to a resolution on our cafe situation. Attorney was contacted
Yes.
this past week, I think.
Again,
And,
so yes, I have heard from him. He is working on it.
Okay, so we're waiting to get more feedback there.
Yes.
But we are, we had a good meeting, as you heard at the last board meeting with the school, and we're working towards getting that resolved in a timely manner by the time the contract comes up. The other thing, which we talked about briefly earlier, was the committee met with Julie and then with Keith Perfect and Carl Guile. Is that
Yes.
Guile last name? To kind of do an LED project wrap-up. Again, we talked on this a little bit last week, or last month at our board meeting. Just to summarize, virtually all of the lights that we could exchange out have been exchanged. There's a couple areas that still need to be addressed because we need some electrical work done if we're going to pursue those. And Keith will continue to look into doing that.
And then we also have some areas where we don't even have like a fixture that fits an LED option yet.
Yeah, there are some
So that's-
situations that
Right.
nothing reasonable could be done to
Yeah.
exchange it out. But certainly, I think 85 or 90% has.
I would
has been
agree with
changed
you.
out. So it's nice to have that project completed. A lot of work was done by Keith and by Carl to help make that happen. Keith put together a wonderful, I'll call it a chart, really showing every bulb in the library and what it is and everything else that goes with it.
Yeah, we have a great inventory now, which will be
So-
helpful. And where they're located, because there
Yeah.
is different lighting in different parts of the building. It's just the way it is. So
Yeah,
it's,
I think if you were to construct a building after having gone through an LED conversion, you'd probably be a little more careful about how many different bulbs and ballasts and everything else that you used. I'm sure there were good reasons for everything that was done the way it was done.
you gotta love lighting designers.
Oh, yeah, like any other designer. But that project, again, has been completed for all intents and purposes. A few minor things will be done going forward, but it's essentially been completed.
Nice.
I have a question about the building, not necessarily for the committee, is that okay? The computer lab and the new,
Yes.
did we decide on the name and?
We're working on it, so
Okay,
I
just checking.
can't give you it yet because we're checking on just some legal, things for it. But we're pretty close. I have a meeting actually next week that should solidify it, and then we can move forward. But we're moving along with the furniture being purchased and the project rolling along. We actually, we talked about the time frame of rolling it out and making it happen, and so it's tentative, but we're looking at making the unveiling of the space on June 1st, which is the 9th birthday of the library, so we're trying to coincide that date with it. At this point, knowing when furniture is being delivered and stuff, we're on target for June 1. We just changed the computer lab usage date from April 1st to April 23rd. We were able to move it, just knowing, that we didn't need the space right away. We could keep patrons still using it a little longer. So, yeah, those things are slowly coming along.
And I mentioned that to city council also, and they had a lot of questions.
Oh, okay.
So if you ever talk with them, maybe you could tell them more, because
Sure.
I just had some basics, and they caught me off guard, like, oh, what's that gonna entail? I'm like, well, they're gonna have stencils and a sewing machine and kits and,
Yep.
yeah.
It's a lot of DIY. If we're
what I
starting,
call the
yeah,
DIY.
we're starting it off, I'll call basic for now, because even what's been great is that the patrons see the signage, they know that something's happening, we're explaining what's going there, and they're even saying, hey, have you thought about this? Or I'd love to see this in there. So we're starting to listen to them too, knowing that we might, if we didn't think about it, maybe there's something with the money we have that we can incorporate based on what we're hearing. So that's been wonderful. But it will open with, moving our 3D printers in there, moving our conversion equipment into there, so it's all in one area. We're looking at sewing machines and cutters, like a Cricut, things like that people might use for scrapbooking or maybe stenciling, that type of hobby artwork. But also, some other cool things as well. So it's
That's what I said.
It is, yeah. But we didn't want to come out with a lot either, and then purchase it and maybe it not get purchased or get used.
Right.
It's almost better to kind of be organic about it and see what people might need. And then that's why when I came to budgets with you last month and you see the final numbers here today, is to stop kind of what we thought in spending and then take some of it and move it into 1920, because that'll give us time to grow and allow that space to grow a little more over the next year. So, and since we knew where we were with some numbers, we thought that would be a good way to go. Thank you, but that's a great question. I'll make a note of that so that maybe I can put something in an off packet for the council.
And I did notice, Julie, really quick, and I was impressed by this. I was looking at the website and I noticed a blurb that said that room, that area is going to change really quick to get ready for it. And I felt like how thoughtful to prepare
Yes.
our patrons for a place where they usually go to
Right.
to change.
Yes.
Do you know
So
how that is?
We've
To
been
be shocked.
communicating it since January. So,
Okay.
yeah.
I was really impressed by that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
Thank
that was, I just happened to be on the website and I was like, oh, well, thank you.
Yes, yes.
I have a really quick.
We have found that change sometimes can be difficult, so the longer we can take to let people know, the better.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, so I had a really quick question about our makerspace. Is the team coming up with any policies in place for the usage of the space, just to make sure that there's a difference between hobbying and then hobbies for profit?
Right.
So I want to make sure there's a good
Yes, great question,
delineation.
and policies are being considered at this time.
Great,
Yes.
that's great. Thank you.
That's a great question. All right, okay, now G, by law committee.
Nothing to report.
Okay. We are at our second portion of public comment. In order to hear all citizen comments at a reasonable hour, the library board requests that speakers respect the 3-minute time limit. This is not a question and answer session, therefore library board members will not respond to questions. It is an opportunity to voice your thoughts with the Novi Public Library Board of Trustees. And seeing no one come forward, we will move on to matters for board action, which is item 15. Quite a bit.
There's a lot.
So we have A, which is the operating agreement between the Novi Public Library and the Friends of the Novi Public Library.
So if I can speak to this.
Please
this-
do.
I brought it to you and you approved it from the draft that was brought to you a month ago, but when I went back, it turns out there are still changes and the Friends had suggestions. We're working with our attorney on those. I had a meeting with our president and our vice president of the Friends with our attorney on some language that they weren't comfortable with even after you had approved it.
Okay.
So we had to go back a little bit. I'm waiting to hear back from the attorney on the newest draft based on everybody at that meeting and kind of coming to a consensus on some language, and then you're gonna see it come back again.
Okay.
So what does that mean for our approval that we already?
So what you're gonna do is this is gonna come back, and the newest one that I proposed you will be the newest one.
So we do another approval?
You will.
Okay, thank you. So that's good, thanks a lot. All right, so B, we're looking, Melissa, do you want to speak to this? Because I know that you had mentioned it
I'll have
earlier.
Julie speak about it, if that's
Okay.
okay? Yep.
Yep,
So in front of you is on page 45, beginning on page 45 through page 48. This is the proposed 2019-20 268 budget fund. Oh, there's a double 268, I apologize. 268 budget fund. And this is based on our two budget sessions that we held, one in January on the 19th and one on February 9th. I believe I've made all the notations and changes that we had talked about, and I am bringing you a budget for 2019-2020, looking for revenue, if you look on page 45, to come in at $3,142,439, with, on page 48, if you look at that, with expenditures coming in at $3,234,539, which means we would be using $92,100 of fund balance in order to balance our budget for 1920. Any questions? So I put in the figures that we talked about, which really are the capital things that were of, that were major changes during our budget sessions, which is the van purchase, the technology that we'll be doing upgrades to, and camera replacements, totaling about $70,000. That would have been the stuff that we had some discussions on. Also made note of the request from the board in terms of the salaries for permanent and temporary salaries. Those were adjusted and put in based on your recommendations. So I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
any questions?
I don't have any.
All right, no questions here.
Do we need to make a motion?
So,
Yep, that's where we're
Yeah.
going. I just wanted to
Yes.
ask if there was any
No,
questions.
I mean, I was just asking that, I'm not asking to make a motion.
Oh, no,
I'm
it's okay. I
asking, do we need to make a motion?
Yeah, I think that's where
This
we're
has to
at.
have formal approval,
Yeah, I
yes.
think that's
Yes.
where we're at right now.
Yeah.
But with two people missing, should we wait, or do we need to?
You
vote?
have quorum.
Okay, so we're okay to vote?
Yes,
We're
you
okay,
have
just wanna
quorum.
make sure.
Okay, that's a good question, though.
No, that's, I'm just kind of taking it step
Yep.
by step, so wrapping my brain around it.
Sure.
Do we want to approve them separately, or do we approve them together?
I would do them separately, I appreciate
Okay, that's why I'm asking.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, okay, so would you like to make a motion, Melissa?
Yes, I shall.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve fiscal year 2019-2020 for fund budget 268, revenue of $3,142,439, expenditures of $3,234,539, consuming $92,100 of fund balance.
Okay.
Would it be worthwhile to just add as detailed on pages 45 to
detailed.
We should approve, I think, the whole budget, not just the two bottom lines.
Oh, okay, as written on pages 45 through 48
Thank you.
in our packet.
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. And Melissa, you did that so beautifully. Would you like to make the next motion for
Julie, is there
C?
anything 269 that we need to be aware of before I make the motion?
Just the changes we made in discussion we had at the two budget meetings. There were no major changes, except I did make the notations from trustee Wood that he brought to our attention at the meeting.
Perfect.
In terms of carrying over from the 18-19 amended to year end and then working from that number. Yes. So if you want, it's revenue of, for 1920, it's revenue of 39,500, expenditures of, total expenditures of 75,250, and it would be an ending fund balance expected of 1,573,028.28.
Do you want to make a motion?
Yes, please.
All right, I make a motion to approve fund balance 269 for fiscal year 2019-20, as listed on page 49, with revenue of 39,500 and expenditures of $75,250.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's approved.
Wonderful. These will be turned over to the city tomorrow morning.
Great.
Thank you so much. Okay, now, our last item, 16, who would like to motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thanks, everyone.
We're adjourned. Thank you, guys.